What's up, YouTube? Today I've got probably the most exciting video that, well, exciting to me anyways, that I've done in a while. We're going into the forest, or I should even say the mountains, with Starlink, and we're bringing some other fun stuff too, like my laptop, obviously, and a 1U rack mount server running pFsense, you know, just to do some experimenting, and my lunch, you know, in case I get hungry. So inside the van already, we've got some other stuff like, you know, a shovel in case, you know, I got to dig a hole for something. Got some seats, got my big 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter, which is apparently soaking wet on the bottom, but we're just gonna hope that's okay. Got a power bar with a long cord. There's also an extension cord in there. Got our Starlink in my hoodie here so it doesn't get damaged, although I'm sure it's fine because it's meant to be on the roof of a house. Got the Dell R310. You know, it's so wet back here. I'm gonna put this in the side, I think. All right, that's about it. Let's go. Here, wherever here is, drove about 2 hours into the mountains, lost cell phone coverage about 10 minutes into the drive, so needless to say, we're really in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, let's get set up and see if we can get some internet out here. So I brought a table. All right. Can't do anything without a chair. Got my laptop bag. Some network cables. One server. I almost didn't bring a monitor for the server, but I decided it's probably, after driving all that distance, if there's an issue, I'm going to be really upset with myself. Then the Starlink dish itself. So why don't we get that set up first? This looks like a good spot to me. Okay, so sticker in her base. There we go. So my power setup is not very elegant. In fact, it's downright dangerous because there's no fuse, and just don't try this at home. Some negative there, some positive there, just a little bit. All right, that seems secure enough. I'm gonna leave the van running for this too, because the last thing we need is a dead battery out here. Probably should get one of those mobile booster packs just in case. We got power. Well, let's start by firing up our server, although, you know, I really shouldn't get ahead of myself. I should really see if the Starlink dish actually even gets internet here first, but wait for it. I don't think it's every day that someone starts up a server in the middle of nowhere. For those that don't know, pFsense is a software-based router firewall platform, and a lot of people run it on smaller hardware, but all I had kicking around was this old rack mount server, so I figured, why not bring that out here? It is definitely just an extra test today. If you want, for the sake of simplicity, you can pretend that this is just like a D-Link router or something, and if it works with this, theoretically it should work with any router. So here's our Starlink stuff. You probably saw it in the unboxing video. We're gonna plug that in, and we're gonna start by just seeing if we can get it to work with the Starlink provided, or the SpaceX provided Starlink router. So we're gonna stick that there, plug that in, then we're gonna plug in the cable going to the dish. So theoretically, the Starlink system should be starting. I see a pulsing white light, so that is a good sign. And we're gonna open up my laptop here. Might as well plug that in too. I don't know what the battery's at. We'll unlock that. Perfect. Okay, so we are good there. Now we're just gonna wait and see if the Starlink dish gets a signal. Just walking over to the dish, it actually has moved from its starting position and it is pointed up at the sky. So I'm guessing that means it actually found its satellites. Let's just go ahead and hit up speedtest.net and see. Well, we're obviously connected, SpaceX Starlink there. Let's go ahead and do multiple connections and see what happens. Ping of 30. Holy smokes. Guys, 80 megabits in the middle of the woods. I gotta say, that is pretty cool. Holy smokes. That is pretty neat. And look at that upload. I'm a little bit shocked, but also not, because I've already been doing some testing with this and this seems to work pretty good. Now, keep in mind, where I live, I'm pretty close to access to the woods and the forest and the mountains and all that, so I'm actually not that far from my home address. I'm gonna put it on screen because I actually don't know off the top of my head. So just for your reference, I'm not saying this will work anywhere because a lot of people have reported, you know, it's geolocked or whatnot, but I don't think it is necessarily geolocked. I think it's more so there's only the coverage is very limited right now. So the funny thing is though, when I did purchase it, it did say the service will only work at the address listed, which obviously is not true. So I just paused the recording of the video because I actually shoot these videos on my phone, but I wanted to show you the app, and I'm just gonna put it on screen. There's not a lot to the app. It shows you what's connected. There's no like port forwarding or any sort of advanced router, well, even basic router functions. But it does show a cool statistics section that will show you what your connection's like, dropouts. I find it kind of funny which services they choose to show latency, but there you go. Let's just do another speed test and see if it's holding stable, and then let's try some stuff. 32 milliseconds. About the same. Just want to make sure I'm still recording. Don't want to miss this. This is exciting stuff. This is cutting edge technology here. This is incredible, you know. For someone that does like camping in the wilderness, this is a game changer because I do run my own business, and at the moment we only can go for a few days. Sometimes I can go for 4 days, but a lot of stuff I could do remotely, and this clearly will work for that. I mean, even if it's not fully consistent, and you know, as long as it's an area that has coverage and works, you know, you could easily you know, spend extra time. You could do, theoretically, we could have a SIP phone here, which is IP-based phone systems. You know, I could actually answer the phone as if I was at my desk. So having said that, what we're gonna try to do with pFsense is we're gonna try to establish a site-to-site VPN with my house and see if we can get into my server there. But first, let's actually just try some normal stuff, like let's watch a YouTube video. You know what, let's just go 4K scenery, because you know what? There's nothing that will cause any sort of upset with 4K scenery. Uh-oh. Looks like we don't have internet. Oh, I'm not even connected to the router anymore. What the heck? Still got a blinky light. I wonder if that means it's like lost its connection and it's waiting to to restore it. But I find it interesting if it disconnects all of its clients from its Wi-Fi radio if it loses connection to the Starlink router. You know what? Time to bring out the big boy internet cables, because you know we don't like Wi-Fi around here. I don't know if this is going to make a difference, to be honest. Man, everything's just falling all over the place. So in case you don't know, the aux port is basically just a standard network port like you'd see on most routers. Most routers do have 4 ports, but this has a single port, which you could theoretically plug into a network switch and then plug multiple devices in if you plan to use this router. Yeah, it says no internet. Should I restart the system, or no, we'll just wait a few minutes. In the meantime, let's simulate what I just said. Should have brought a Wi-Fi access point too, because when we take this out of the equation, we got to have Wi-Fi, you know, just for phones. But like I said, we don't use Wi-Fi for computers. Okay, so computer, aux port, there you go. I don't know if you can see that, but we got port 1 and port 5 lit. And now theoretically, I can plug all my computers in, but I only brought one, so. I think I'm gonna go ahead and restart the Starlink system, because it is not doing anything that I want it to do right now. While we're waiting for Starlink, let's get pFsense going here. So theoretically, if I plug my, you know what? Let's just leave the switch in and pretend it's a real network, even though this isn't really that great of a switch. But so if I plug this red guy into the LAN port, which I believe I assigned as number 2 on the back here. So things are about to get a little bit advanced. If you're just here for the Starlink video, you've probably heard everything you want to see. But if you want to see us trying really funky things like accessing my home network directly via pFsense and IPsec VPN, you may want to stay tuned. Admin pFsense, default password. You know, it'd be funny if someone else was going exploring the forest and they drove up on me right now, they'd probably be like, what the heck is this guy doing? And I'd be happy to explain. Do I have to change the password? No, I don't. Okay, so we're logged into pFsense now. The Starlink connection is back up, running with this router. So I'm just gonna unplug that. We're gonna plug it into the back of my pFsense router here. And again, pretend that this is just any router. If you have a D-Link or a Linksys or an Ubiquiti, anything like that at home, just pretend that's what it is. And oh, look at that. We have an IP address here. I wonder if that's a public IP address. What is my IP? Oh no! It looks like they're operating some sort of NAT. Okay, well that's bad news for anyone that wants to do port forwarding. Don't hold me to that. This is just my first thought, but it definitely looks, that's an internal IP most likely. And that's the external IP, which probably a bunch of people are sharing. Let's go CMD trace route google.com. Let's see what route this takes. So just so you know, we're going from my computer's Ethernet jack into this switch and then into the pFsense router. That's not a lot of hops. Let's ping google.com. Look at that. Interesting. Okay, so what we took away from this is it's pretty easy to plug in your own router. I don't know, unfortunately, oh, you know what? I could bridge the wireless interface in this laptop. I was gonna say, I don't know if I can look at the statistics through the app now, because I assume that is through this guy. But we might try that in a minute. So after a bunch of messing around, I did get the site-to-site VPN up and running. Let's go into here. This is my address. This is my router at home. As you can see, you know, it's connected and working. So that's pretty neat. Let's see, okay, so we're gonna try a little file transfer here. I've got a couple graphics here, total of 76 megabytes, so not really that big, but we're going to copy this onto one of my servers at home and see how long it takes. That's satellite internet right there. Yes, I acknowledge it is pretty slow, and you know, it is still beta, but that's satellite internet. That's pretty good. As it goes to 0. This also could be my site-to-site VPN configuration. I slapped it together. It's not really optimized. If we jump back here, we can look at what the upload is. You know what? Why don't we actually, let's jump in and do another speed test and see if we're experiencing like some sort of slowdown, because it literally could just be, you know, something else. But hey, it works. That was the point of the test. Well, you know, like that download speed, holy smokes, that's the best I've seen. So at home, I was only able to get about 80 to 90. I'm testing the upload now, about 20 megabits, holding pretty steady, and there it is. I would say this overall is a pretty good test. Let's try that YouTube again that we were about to test earlier. Let's go, let's see if we can watch 4K. And let's bump this up to 2160p. Look at that. She's playing. There's our data. I assume it's as it fills the buffer, we should just get spikes, which we are. My laptop isn't really fast enough to play this that smoothly, so we're just gonna say that's probably laptop related. So let's bump it down to 1080. There we go, it's a little bit smoother. Okay, that is very cool. That's probably all the testing I'm going to do today because I'm freezing. It is cold out here. And I forgot a toque. Oh, did I forget? Yeah, I think I forgot a toque. And I want to eat my lunch. So yeah, that's the gist of it. So just to review, we've got pFsense running on a 1U Dell server with a site-to-site VPN to my house. It's plugged into a network switch, which my computer is plugged into. And then I actually have hotspot mode turned on my computer, which you can see here. And I've got my phone connected to that because I didn't actually bring a wireless access point. This is like the first of probably many tests I want to do with this. Unfortunately, you know, work's busy, so they're probably going to be a bit staggered, but please like and subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff, because this stuff is awesome. I mean, look at this. We're in the woods. Like, okay, just one here. I'm going to leave you with this. Look at where we are. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Oh, and for those that are waiting patiently for more updates on my home server room and all that, I'll get to it. I actually haven't really worked on it since the last video, so it's still, the servers are still sitting on cinder blocks, but we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, thanks for watching.